Most people go through life thinking they know themselves, thinking they understand others, and thinking the world works in a certain way. But psychology tells a different story. There are truths about human behavior, motivation, habits, success, and emotions that very few people actually realize. And once you understand these truths, really understand them, your entire life can change. So in this video, we're going to explore 10 deep psychological truths that can unlock success, confidence, emotional power, and unshakable growth. These truths are backed by real science, but presented in simple language, so you don't just hear them, you feel them. Let's begin. Truth 1. The world doesn't owe you anything. Here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not society. The world doesn't owe you success, money, happiness, or even fairness. Psychology shows us that people who adopt an internal locus of control, meaning they take responsibility for their actions and outcomes, are far more successful than those who blame others or wait for help. When you stop expecting life to be fair, you stop waiting and start acting, and that's the day everything starts to change. Truth 2. Motivation comes after action. Most people wait for motivation to magically appear before they do the hard work, but psychology proves the opposite is true. According to the behavioral activation principle, motivation often follows action, not the other way around. When you take action, especially small, consistent actions, your brain creates momentum, and that momentum builds motivation. So don't wait to feel ready. Take action while you're still afraid, still unsure, because motivation is created by movement, not by waiting. Truth 3. People judge you based on what you show them. You may believe that people will see your intentions, your heart, or your true self. But here's the truth. People judge you based on your behavior, not your intentions. In psychology, this is known as the fundamental attribution error. We judge others by what they do, not what they feel inside. So if you want to be seen as confident, competent, or kind, you have to act that way. Speak clearly, stand tall, show discipline, show warmth. Don't assume people know who you are. Show them. Truth 4. 95% of your decisions are made subconsciously. You may think you're making rational, conscious choices, but neuroscience says otherwise. Up to 95% of our decisions are made by the subconscious mind, driven by habits, emotions, and past experiences. This is why your environment matters. The people you hang around, the content you consume, the habits you repeat, they all shape your subconscious. If you want to change your life, you must reprogram your mind. And that starts with being aware of what's influencing you. Truth 5. You can only change what you accept. This one's hard for most people. We think change comes from rejecting our flaws or hating our past. But real lasting change starts with acceptance. In therapy, there's a concept called radical acceptance. It means fully accepting your current reality, not to stay stuck in it, but to stop wasting energy fighting it. When you accept that you're anxious, lazy, or insecure, you stop denying it, and then you can start changing it. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means facing the truth without resistance. Truth 6. Most people are focused on themselves, not you ever feel like everyone's watching, judging, or criticizing you. That's called the spotlight effect. Psychologically, we overestimate how much people pay attention to us. The truth? Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to care what you're doing. They're worried about their hair, their problems, their insecurities. Once you realize this, you become free. Free to speak, try, fail, and grow, because no one's watching as closely as you think. Truth 7. Emotions are messengers, not enemies. Most people suppress their emotions. They think sadness, anger, or fear makes them weak. But psychology tells us emotions are messengers. They exist to tell you something important. Anger might be telling you someone crossed your boundary. Sadness might be showing you what you truly care about. Anxiety might be pushing you to prepare. Instead of fighting your feelings, listen to them. Ask, what is this emotion trying to teach me? That's how you become emotionally intelligent and emotionally unstoppable. Truth 8. Your brain believes what you repeatedly tell it. The human brain is programmable. If you repeat something long enough, good or bad, your brain starts to believe it. This is the core of cognitive behavioral therapy and affirmations. If you constantly say, I'm not good enough, or I always fail, your brain wires that belief into your identity. But if you consistently say, I'm learning, I'm growing, or I can figure it out, your brain starts to see those as facts. So speak with power. Speak with faith. Your self-talk creates your self-image, and your self-image controls your entire life. Truth 9. Willpower is a muscle, and it gets tired. We love to think that strong people have infinite willpower. But psychology tells us that willpower is like a battery. It drains as you use it. This is called ego depletion. If you're constantly making decisions, resisting temptation, or forcing yourself through pain, you'll eventually break down. The solution? Structure your life so that discipline becomes easier. Set routines. Prepare your meals. Lay out your clothes. Reduce decision fatigue. The more habits you automate, the less willpower you need. Work smarter, not just harder. Truth 10. You are not your thoughts. Here's the most powerful truth of all. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. Your mind will generate doubt, fear, laziness, and self-criticism. That doesn't mean those thoughts are true. In fact, most of them are just noise, leftover from childhood, society, or stress. Psychology calls this cognitive diffusion, the ability to separate from your thoughts. When you learn to observe your mind instead of becoming trapped inside it, you unlock freedom. You realize, I have thoughts, but I am not my thoughts. That is power. That is self-mastery. Final words. These 10 truths aren't just interesting ideas, they're tools. Tools that can help you build a better, stronger, more fearless version of yourself. If even one of these truths hit you deep, don't just nod. Take action. Start small. Start now. Because the moment you understand how your mind works, you gain the ability to shape your entire reality.